So not too long ago here on the sessions, we broke out everybody's favorite, the old tier list, to take a look at the #1 R&B songs of the year 2005. You know, a look 20 years later. That was cool. We had a good time. The original plan was to then look at the #1 hip-hop songs of 2005. And the way these lists work, as I mentioned in that video at the time, is a little strange. So if there is a song that has like a R&B hook or something like that, you'll see a lot of crossover on both lists. So when I started comparing the list for hip-hop for 2005, it was way too similar to the list of R&B for 2005. Y'all did not want to sit through me talking about Hate It or Love It or that Bow Wow Rambly song again. I already did that last time. So instead, I decided to turn the clock back even more. So this list will take a look at the #1 R&B songs from the year 1995. Yes, we going all the way back. And 1995 means so much to you, boy. I'm so excited about this list. Hits on hits on hits. You can't spell 1995 without the word hits. Actually, you can. Don't worry about it. The hits are hitting in 1995. We're going to have fun today. Come check it out. It's going to be great. Welcome back, y'all, to another edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions. I'm so glad you took time to join your boy, because we are talking about one of my favorite years in music, 1995, on the R&B side. A 30-year look back from where we are today, and boy, is R&B a lot different in 1995 than today. And for me, this means a lot, because 1995 is the year that I can remember that I really went from casual music fan, like just having the music on while I'm playing video games or whatever, to being the obsessive music stan that you see before you now. So you can blame 1995 if you can't stand it, but if you can't stand it, why are you watching this video? I thank you, but I don't know why. So 1995 is just such a magical year because, as I mentioned earlier, there were just hits everywhere, just across the board. Hits on hits on hits. And R&B specifically was wonderful because R&B was still in the mainstream eyes. So it was great videos. We got big budgets. R&B actually getting a budget. Look at that. And most importantly, even when R&B was incorporated with hip-hop, we had the rappers rapping and the singers singing, just as God intended. Not this mix of mess with people who can't sing or singing now. Look, the only time I want to hear a rapper singing is if you're Lauryn Hill or Missy Elliott or Queen Latifah, or I guess Fonte, maybe CeeLo. I guess there's a few of y'all. Other than y'all and the rest of y'all, you're not allowed. No for the rest of y'all. So anyway, 1995 is what the name of the game is today on the R&B side. For those who need a refresher, producer D Roth, show the folks the tier list that we have. So there it is, the wonderful clean tier list. It will soon be packed with all of these great songs that you see below. We'll move them up. S tier, of course, is the elite, the best of the best. A tier is super dope. B is very good, and going down from there, you don't want to be in the player please section. But this is 1995. Ain't no player pleases in 1995. Sorry to spoil it for you. The year is just that dope. So before we begin, y'all know what it is. Let's do some housekeeping. Make sure that you hit like on this video. Hit like for 1995, because if you're watching this video, you're like me, you love some 1995. Or if you're just one of my youngins who are looking for education, you're going to hit like because you are going to be enriched today. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit share or hit subscribe on this channel. We'll get to share in a second. hit subscribe. I always check my analytics, and half of y'all watching this video are not subscribed to the channel. Stop tripping. It only takes a click of the button, and it means a lot to me and my boy D Roth. The more subscriptions we get, the more empowered we are to keep coming out with content. So when you're like, man, when you gonna put out another video? I got bills to pay, homie. But the more subscriptions will help me get motivated to put out more content. And as I mentioned earlier, once we're all said and done, be sure to hit the share with the R&B fan in your life. All right, we're done with that. Let's get to the good stuff. I can't wait for this. Ranking the #1 Billboard R&B hits of 1995. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I feel it in my soul. I can't wait. We are starting out hot and heavy with the first one of the year. #1 for 5 weeks is TLC's Creep. An inescapable hit. You could not go anywhere in 1994 or 1995 without running into this song. It was, oh my gosh. And this was before they were playing songs on commercial. It still trips me out now to hear like Ghostface and Just Blaze on a random commercial in 2025. Like, that's madness. You would never hear that in 1995. But even then, even though hip-hop and R&B doesn't have the exposure that we take for granted today, a song like Creep, you walk outside and there are going to be 3 cars just blasting it out of the radio. It was that ever-present. And it was just so well done. You had T-Boz's Low Register, and like you had that kind of married with our girl Chili's just great hook. I creep around. It all just worked together so well. The iconic video with them in their little silk PJs dancing around. Such an incredible classic song. However, I will be honest, I never loved this song as much as everyone else did. I don't know if it's because it was played out so much, or I guess that couldn't be it because I had the album, and even when I had the album, I was greatly preferring Digging on You and Red Light Special and a few others. So this song is great, but although I guess many would put it in S tier, I'm going to just go with A tier. I know that might be controversial. I'm not hating on it. Certainly a classic song for sure, but to me it's not quite as great as songs that are on that same album. It's a dope single, no questions there, but I'm gonna give it an A tier. Next up is Brandy and Baby. For 4 weeks this one was #1. And look, I always get so tickled when y'all talk about Beyonce fatigue. Let me tell you about fatigue. If you were around in 1995, I bet you had some Brandy fatigue. You think Beyonce is everywhere? Brandy was everywhere. Everywhere. Brandy Mania was running wild, brother. That lady was inescapable. Whether it was Moesha, whether it was the Thea show, or she was just, and her singles being everywhere, she was the golden child, and she was everywhere. And she was still riding high off of the success of her debut album, a very great album. But I ain't never really liked Baby like that, y'all. It was a little baby, don't you know that you so fine. Even back then, it felt a little pandering-ish. Like it was a little like, a little cringy. Like, baby. Like, all right with the babies. Don't you know that you so fine? It's like, the dude probably do know he fine. Like, why you gotta say that? Like, I was not a big fan of this one. A little bit like Creep, there were lots of songs on the album I preferred a lot more than this one, but I will absolutely recognize that it's a good song. I will listen to it now because it's not played out as much, but I was not the biggest fan of the baby song. Any song that has like baby in the title 1,000 times, even UTLC, kind of got on my nerves in the 90s. So D Roth, let's move this one to the B tier. B for Baby, because my God, with the babies on this song. Up next is my boy, Soul For Real, for 3 weeks. Candy Rain. Oh my gosh, this song. Before the word bop was invented, there was Candy Rain. And Candy Rain was the candy-coated bop that we all love. This is the song that they would play and even your grandma would want to dance to it because it's just so much fun. And I love Soul For Real's makeup. Like their their chemistry, because you had the young voices and then you had the mature voices all on the same track. You could really hear like the tone shift and the dynamic. It was different layers to one song. I love this song. You talk about a hit that's like lasted all these years. And So For Real, don't sleep on them. I was going to say are not one-hit wonders. You could say they're two-hit wonders, but their debut album is actually pretty good too. So these guys, I think, are underrated. This song still holds up to the test of time. It is just so fun. Made for the roller skating rinks. If that's still a thing, I don't know. I'm old. Regardless, D Roth, get the horns out, because this one deserves S tier. An S tier song, no question. Yep, I put it over Baby and I put it over Creep. Be mad at somebody else. This song is dope. Alright, let's get to a song everybody and their mama knows. Montel Jordan for 7 weeks. This is how we do it. Before I get into this, can I go on a rant? Can y'all allow me to get on my rant right quick? Because I cannot stand people who claim that Montel Jordan is a one-hit wonder. That grinds my gears, because either you're too young to know better or you're too old and Alzheimer's is it and you don't remember. Because the man has multiple #1 hits. What are you talking about? Okay, we got this one. This is how we do it. Alright. We got Let's Get It On Tonight. That was #1. We got Let's Ride. That was #1. Then we got I Can Do That. What's On Tonight? Fallen. I Like. All of those were top 10 hits, and that's just off the top of my head. I'm probably forgetting some. He's got songs that he's written for other people, like Deborah Cox. He's got gospel hits. This man has a roster. Why are we calling him a one-hit wonder? Yes, he has an iconic song that everyone remembers, but that was one of several hits. A lot of these people y'all gassing up on Instagram today don't have any hits. They don't have any #1s. This man has a handful, plus a bunch of tens, a bunch of top 10s, plus a bunch of albums that charted high as well. Stop playing in Montel Jordan's face. An incredible artist. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking about this song. Y'all already know I have nothing to say about this song, but S tier! Easily one of the greatest songs of the 90s. Not even a question. I ain't even gotta talk about that. But stop sleeping on Montel Jordan. Stop playing in that man's face, y'all. One-hit wonder. Player, please. Alright, next up is Method Man and Mary J. Blige. I'll Be There For You / You're All I Need to Get By. I mean, we just call it All I Need. Like, this song, the title is ridiculous. Let me tell you how cruel the 90s was to us young children who are watching this video. The 90s was the era when you would hear a dope song on the radio, a hit, you couldn't wait. You would go buy the album, and the version on the album was not the version on the radio. If you heard Meth and Mary on the radio and you rushed to the store to get the Method Man album and you picked it up and you went to track 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever it was, and you heard that version, you'd be like, where's Mary? Mary is nowhere to be found. And it wasn't just him. We talking about Lil' Kim's Crush on You, LL Cool J's Loungin'. It happened all the time. We got. You spent $15.99 for an album and you didn't get the song you wanted. If you wanted that version that they played on the radio or on BET or MTV, you had to go get the single, which half the time could have been $1.99, $2.99, or $5.99, depending if it was a maxi single. So you got all over the place in the 90s. Sinister and diabolical. But anyway, let's talk about the greatness of this song. Still another song that has gone down to be an absolute classic. When we think about R&B and hip-hop pairings, this is the gold standard. I am pondering doing a video pretty soon, or maybe a post on Soul and Stereo, where we rank like the best features of all times. And this one might be #1 on the list. I can't think of a hip-hop and R&B feature that worked so perfectly. You got Meth just going hard. He's bearing his soul in the most rugged way that he can, and then you got Mary doing her gritty hip-hop soul thing over top of it. It is a match made in hip-hop heaven. Absolutely one of the greatest duos of all time, one of the best remixes of all time, one of the best hip-hop R&B collabs of all time. So what can I say but S tier? Another S tier. Man, the S tier is going to get crowded. I told y'all 1995 was not a game. Alright, next up is Monica and Don't Take It Personal. So for 2 weeks in the summer, we got this song at the top of the charts. And you know how back in the day, or maybe y'all don't know back in the day, but there was a point where when there were two competing artists, you had to pick one. Couldn't like both. Michael Jackson or Prince. You had to pick one. You couldn't like them both. Yes, we were tribalistic back then too. I will admit it was the same. We didn't have the internet to like enhance it, but it was definitely a thing. I don't even know if there's an equivalent to that now. I guess Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. I guess that's, you got to pick one or the other. Can I pick neither? I guess that's, I like Cardi. I like Cardi as a person. She never has to put out another song again, but I like her as a person. I am not clamoring for a new album, her or Rihanna. But anyway, let me get back on focus. Yes, the thing that Monica had in the whole debate with Monica versus Brandy, as I talked about earlier, I can only speak from my experience with interacting with the young ladies in my school. And you had to pick. And most of the ladies that I remember were tired of Brandy. They thought Brandy was being shoved down their throats. She was sweet. They say she was fake. I didn't agree with that. But her persona was so America's sweetheart-ish, where Monica was just like the girl that you grew up next door. So everyone in my school gravitated toward Monica. Brandy, they were like, she too Hollywood, she too sweet, she too made up. And they loved this song. They called it the PMS song for obvious reasons. But I liked it too because it had the LL sample. It was just so moody and aggressive, but it wasn't offensive. Like, she was just being honest. She like, some days I don't want y'all in my face, leave me alone. And she had that matureness. She was like 15 years old, sounding like a 45-year-old woman in the way that she performed. And that was so great. This song was great. It was a great launching point for her career. Maybe I should rank her albums next on the Soul and Stereo Sessions. We might do that. Anyway, love this song. Can't give it S tier to think she had better songs on the album than this one, but let's do A tier for this one. Don't Take It Personal is absolutely a banger. And now we are here for 9 weeks dominating the summer. That man right there, the Notorious B.I.G., One More Chance, Stay With Me remix. I will be very honest with y'all. And to this day, 30 years later, this remains my favorite song of all time. Of all time. Yes, it started in 1995 and it continues today. Because I cannot think of a better way to remix a song than this. The reason why I didn't give Ready to Die, Biggie's debut, the 5-star review a while back when we talked about that, is because there were some songs up there that kind of cringy. And the original One More Chance is one of those songs. But if this was on the album, oh my goodness. Maybe it would have gotten the 5 from your boy. Because the way this song is put together is a blueprint for how you do a radio hit while maintaining your authenticity as a rapper. Biggie is just spitting. He's got quotables that are still remembered today. Faith on the hook was a match made in heaven. The video was so iconic because you had all of the features and the cameos from artists like Aaliyah and Heavy D and Total, and all these people were just there to kind of bring the presentation there. This to me is when Biggie went from like this super dope artist that hip hop heads love to an actual superstar. This is the song that did it. This is an absolute hit. I mean, if I could give this song 6 stars, I would, but I can't do it. So D Roth, get S tier ready, because this is S tier. If I could do super S tier, this would be it. My favorite song of all time. I gotta represent for it, and I think it still holds up. I'm not saying because somebody's gonna pop in here and say, oh my gosh, such and such has better bars. I'm not saying that it's the greatest Biggie song of all time. I'm not saying that it has the dopest bars of all time. But as for me and my house, and that brother over my shoulder, it is my favorite and likely always will be. Alright, so for 1 week in August, breaking Biggie's incredible run, we got Shaggy and Mr. Bombastic coming in at number 1 for the R&B charts, which is weird that we got Biggie and Shaggy on the R&B charts, but I mean, that's how it goes down on these weird charts. The weird thing about this is it's not just Bombastic, but it's also Bombastic / in the summertime, because as we talked about earlier with singles, some singles were kind of paired. So In the Summertime was a B-side on this, and I don't even know if it's fair to include it because it's a much inferior song to Bombastic. Bombastic to me is, when I think of Shaggy, I think of this. I know y'all think of It Wasn't Me. I hate that song. That song is dumb. When I think of Shaggy, I think of Bombastic and the Sting remix. That's the one I prefer more than the original. So this song is alright. Like, it's fun. It's goofy. I mean, the lyrics are ridiculous. I'm a hachoo sneeze, hachoo. Like, so what are you talking? Don't tickle my foot bottom. Like, what? Ugh. It's goofy, but it's fun. It was everywhere. I remember listening to this song on MTV. It was always on MTV. I'm watching Beavis and Butthead and the song is on. What a time, what a time. It's a fun song. No one would confuse it with being a great song. But for what it does, it gets the job done. D Roth, let's throw this one in the B tier. B for Mr. Bombastic, fantastic. We can do that for B. Alright, next up is Michael Jackson. Yes, back on the top of the charts with You Are Not Alone. This song is kind of weird to talk about in 2025. I'm not going to get into it. Google is your friend. If you want to Google and see who wrote it and what the original intent of the song really was, it's kind of creepy and sad now, and I don't want to talk about it because I'll get demonetized. So Google is your friend if you want to see the actual history behind what this song was and what the lyrics intentionally meant. So let's just ignore that and just talk about what we have here and Michael's performance, because Michael had nothing to do with any of all that. So yes, I love this song because this was an opportunity for Michael to evolve into a different era. We often talk about artists who are legacy artists or legends from a different decade coming into a new decade, and of course sounds change, but how can they adapt? He was able to adapt by taking this really slow number that sounds very fresh and current, but also feels like a Michael Jackson song. Like, he isn't out here rapping like Biggie or doing a Mr. Bombastic. He's not doing that. He's doing MJ, but he's doing it with modern production, with modern writing, with modern cadences, and he doesn't lose himself or sound like a parody. That's why this works. I really like this song a lot. I know at the time, I remember some people being hit or miss on it, and when you're as legendary as Michael Jackson, that's the curse. That's the Thriller curse, as we call it. If it ain't as good as Thriller, people are like, oh, it sucks. Which is, okay, what's as good as Thriller? You can't do it like that or everything would suck. So I love this song a lot. Weird history aside that we have just recently learned about, I think this is still a great, great track. I'm gonna give this one, let's go A tier for this one. I think this deserves it. Next up is Mariah Carey and Fantasy, and I was surprised to see this was only at the top of the charts for 6 weeks because it felt like 60 weeks back then. This song was everywhere. It is one of the biggest songs of the 90s, kind of like This Is How We Do It, and it's a signature Mariah song. And I loved it. It was genius, straight up genius, the way that they were able to cross this over to urban stations with the ODB remix. Oh my gosh, it was brilliant. I even loved the synergy in the videos. So the original Mariah Carey Fantasy video, you know, she's running around the theme park being, having fun at the theme park. But then with the ODB remix, the clown from the theme park is tied up and like hanging from a pole. So it was just incredible. Because of course, ODB would assault a clown for no reason. I love those little touches in the 90s that you just don't get today. The song itself, oh my gosh, what can I say? What can I say? It is just so much fun. It feels like summer. It just feels so carefree. And this era of Mariah was just so much fun. The Daydream era is one of my favorite eras that we never talk about. Y'all love talking about the Mimi era, and Mimi is good, But Mimi does not compare to the Daydream and the Butterfly eras. I'm sorry. At this point, I felt like this was peak Mariah. She'd even go a little bit higher in the next couple years, but she was really at another level of performing. This song was so fun, so addictive. There is no other thing that I can do but give it the S tier. Yes, this one gets the S tier too. What a great track and so memorable, one that defines the 90s. Alright, for 1 week in November, we get My Girls Escape with Who Can I Run To. That just shows me how tough the competition was in the 90s, because there is, in any other era, this would be number one for like 20 weeks. But times were tough. When you got Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston all nipping at your heels, it's hard to be number one. So they got another week of number one and they earned it. Love this song. This is probably their best song. It's great cover from the Jones Girls from the 70s. It was just so well done. One of the few times, in my opinion, I think the cover better than the original. My OGs will probably throw a shoe at me, but I really think it's better than the original. This is such a great song. In my opinion, their best song. And it's kind of hard to rank it because I'm feeling S tier. But it didn't have the notoriety, of course, of some of the other songs on the list. So maybe A is more. D Roth, let's do A tier. Let's do A tier for this one because it's, you know what? No. This is my list. This is 1995. This is my year. S tier. We're gonna S tier this. I know y'all mad. I know you're mad, but I don't care because I love Escape. Let's make that thing S tier. That song deserves it. Look, they had 1 week. Let them live off that 1 week, please. Plus, Escape is just full of drama today. They need a win. They need a win. Let's give them S tier. Alright, y'all. I knew we were going to get here eventually. But 1 week in November, R. Kelly, You Remind Me of Something. AKA, what we all called it, You Remind Me of My Jeep. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to get in trouble. So, we just gonna leave this one here where it's sitting at the bottom, and you can just use your judgment and place it where you want. I ain't fighting with y'all today. Let's go to the next one. Alright, to cap things off, we're at the final 6 weeks of the year with Whitney Houston and Exhale / Shoop. You gotta say it. You gotta move your lips like she shoop, 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 shoop. This song kind of like drove me crazy back in '95 because it has since come out that Babyface, when he wrote this song for the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, incredible soundtrack by the way, when he wrote it, the shoot thing was just kind of a placeholder. He just kind of put it in there so they could figure out the lyrics later. But then they thought it was so cool that they kept it. Look, 1995, they knew that was some BS. I knew that. I knew it. I knew that was some fake words because it didn't make sense. And that's why it annoyed me. It felt like they were just like making noises instead of actually singing parts of the song. Back when singing a song was something that we celebrated and not whatever we're doing today. So I was always a little pushing back on it, even though I was a young, very young music snob at the time. But over time, I really appreciate it. I think it fits well with the theme of the movie. It's greatly performed. It's greatly written. The part that ain't just shoot. And, of course, it's Whitney Houston, y'all. So, of course, it's impeccably performed. Even with the shoot, shoot, shoot. So even with that, I think that this song has gone on to define a soundtrack that would go on to be one of the biggest soundtracks ever. Certainly one that we celebrate as one of the best ever. So I don't know if I want to give it S tier because it still kind of irks me a little bit today, but it's absolutely, let's do A tier for that. And I know y'all mad, Escape got S and Whitney got A. But it's Whitney, y'all. She can get many more S tiers if we do this tier thing going forward. Don't worry. But great song, no question. Alright, D Roth, let's look back and see what we got. Throw the chart up, showing what we got for the tier list. That is a pretty fantastic looking chart. The S's are S'ing all over the place on that one. This is probably like the strongest tier list we've ever done. And yeah, we got that dude at the bottom. Y'all can put him wherever you want to. I ain't fighting with y'all today. So I had such a great time revisiting 1995. And here's the question. What do I do next? Since I don't want to repeat the problems of the 2005 list, do I dare do 2015 R&B? I don't even know what that list will look like, but it could be fun. Or maybe I go back another 10 years and go 40 years. But y'all let me know. Let me know if we want to go to 85 or 2015. Both would be interested in different ways. Let me know in the comments and we can keep the tier list going. This edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions is a wrap. Brandy stands, don't come kill me. I don't even know, what are the Brandy stands called? The Moeshas, the braids, the aphrodisiacs. I know they mad about that B. So y'all hold on tight. We'll be back next time to show love in another type of way. But in the meantime, let's just all celebrate how great 1995 was. What an incredible year. Go listen to some 1995 and play on, players.